What's up, guys? So here's my review for the event UFC 229 that happened yesterday, and wow, I mean, what a crazy event. And I'm gonna start with my own personal opinions of what happened after the fight, the Conor versus Khabib fight. So to be 100% honest, as entertaining as it can be, what Khabib did, the whole brawling, whatever, I'm really sad it happened. Well, not sad, but I think it was dumb of Khabib doing that. I really wish he would have not done it. I feel like he could have, had he not done that and actually got the time to talk on the microphone with Joe Rogan and then go to the post-fight press conference, he would have been able to talk so much shit about Conor and really have him eat his words. And he didn't get that, and he actually has to watch what he says now because everything could be used against him. So I feel he lost the opportunity to really get revenge on Conor as far as all the shit that Conor talked. But here's my take on this. Well, I've been reading a lot of comments. Man, people are just a whole bunch of fucking hypocrites. If you are disgusted by what Khabib did, but at the same time you are okay and you applaud what Conor did in the bus with the boss and the dolly, back in New York in April, you're a fucking hypocrite. Your opinion basically has no value. Because if you're disgusted about what Khabib did yesterday, you should be disgusted about what Conor did. But the UFC used that footage to promote the fight, and so here's the thing, right? So Conor, the UFC, they know White, we already know he's Conor's bitch. He didn't do anything to Conor for what he did. Conor did get in trouble with the state, and charges were filed against him and all. So I'm hoping the same happens to Khabib. I hope Vegas, Nevada, puts charges on him, gets a fee, whatever, a fine. But I'm expecting the UFC to not do anything to Khabib. And if they do, I mean, you can just show that the bias and just what a bitch Dana White would be if he does something to Khabib, but at the same time didn't do anything to Conor and applauded him and used that to promote the fight. It would just be just so much bullshit. So like I said, I don't think what Khabib did I don't agree with what he did. I think he missed out. I think he screwed up. But I don't see it's any that much worse than what Conor did. And so I hope he gets punished, by the state, but I really hope the UFC gives him the same treatment that they did Conor. So that's for that. Then overall, not too happy with the predictions. Overall, I did 7 out of 12, but the ones I covered, I did 4 out of 7, which is, it's over 50%, or it's over 55%, which is okay. But I was hoping I would have got at least 5 out of 7. I would have been much happier with that. But I'm gonna break them down real quick. And like I always said, I will leave the link in the description of this video that will take you to my prediction video, so you can compare what I'm about to say. So I'm gonna quickly talk about the fight. So Khabib versus Conor. If you listen to my breakdown, my long prediction, it basically went exactly like me and other people said. If Conor failed to knock Khabib out in that first round or second round, he would not have a chance. And see, my prediction was Khabib to win by ground and pound, KO TKO round 3. He actually won by submission round 4. I just thought that Khabib really wanted to smash Conor, so that's why I predicted a ground and pound. Submission makes sense too. But yeah, so like Brendan Schaub said, this was not. Like I said, this was not competitive at all. This was a one-sided domination by Khabib. Look, 111 out of 60, 88 out of 131, 99 out of 146, 37 out of 76. Like, even when they were standing, Khabib dropped them, something that was supposedly impossible according to the majority of people. Even myself, I thought that every single second this fight was on the feet, Khabib was at a huge disadvantage. But no, even though Conor landed a few punches, at any point was Khabib in trouble. And when I talked about that gap, yeah, there's no even a matter of debate. The gap between their grappling levels, it is so much superior to the gap between their striking. And what's crazy is that, you could say Khabib won the striking yesterday, which is insane, But part of it is Conor being afraid of the takedown. But the biggest punch was landed by Khabib for sure. He dropped Conor on that second round. And so semi-perfectly predicted. Kinda. Just dominant prediction by Khabib. Do I think there's a rematch deserved? No. If there is, it's bullshit. If there is, it's just money, If you get dominated and finished, there's no reason for a rematch. Unless you have, defended the, like Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman, unless you have defended the belt so many times, you can ask for a rematch if you get dominated. But seriously, the thing, Conor has never given anyone a rematch. Never gave Aldo a rematch. Never gave Holloway a rematch. Never gave Mendes a rematch. Yeah, he begged for one after Diaz smoked him. Now he wants this one, and I think they should give him. Honestly, I think Conor should fight the winner of Poirier and Diaz, but we'll see. So that's for that one. Happy with this one. So on this one, I was wrong. Not 100%, but definitely. See, if you listen to my breakdown and prediction, I thought that. I even said it. No, had this fight happened any time before Tony's injury, I would have said Tony 100%. But I was wrong in thinking that the year layoff and the major surgery affected Tony. Man, this guy looked like if he was 100%. Ridiculous, never-ending cardio, never-ending pace and pressure, which I did talk about, and I didn't think if he would be able to on a 3-round fight. I didn't think it was going to be that much of a factor over Pettis, combined with the surgery, the year layoff. But no, Tony looked like Tony did. Even though Pettis was very close of finishing him, though. He really hurt him that second round, and I feel like had he, instead of jumping over him to try to do ground and pound, I feel like if he would have just let him stand up while being still a little dizzy, maybe Pettis would have landed a few more punches and finished him. But yeah, Tony versus Khabib is the fight to make, and Khabib gets tired. Tony does not get tired, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, again, Tony, he did not seem like he was out of shape or anything. What a monster this guy is for performing the way he did after that year with the surgery. So great fight, and I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Pettis' hand is not broken. Because he said the same thing versus Max Holloway, that it broke, and turns out it didn't break. So don't be surprised if Pettis' hand is not broken, he just wanted to quit. So we'll see. So I was wrong on this one. On this one, yeah, I was wrong too. So I had talked about how Dominic Reyes had looked dominant in all of his fights, but a whole bunch of nobodies, people that are not even in the top 15. I don't think not even top, well, except for Cannonier. And I had mentioned how it is easy to look dominant versus nobodies. I thought this was going to be his biggest test, and technically it was, because it's the first time he goes to decision. Every other fight he had finished in the first round, I think all but one. And what I was surprised though, so Dominic Reyes, man, he's a really good striker, fast, a lot of pressure, very technical. But the thing that surprised me the most about Reyes was when they clinch, I thought that Obisan Prue was going to be able to manhandle him and just take him down. But no, he was actually able to, stop every takedown attempt from Look at that. He only hit 1 out of 11. OSP was definitely not stronger in the clinch like I thought he would. That's where I thought he was going to have the... See, that was my prediction. I thought Elvinson Prue was going to out-grapple him, out-wrestle him, just out-muscle him, take him down and submit him. But no, Dominic Reyes was very prepared for that. So this fight has changed a lot of my opinion over Reyes. Now this guy's legit, and he deserves. He just beat the number 7 guy. There's no argument. He deserves, a top 5 next fight. And after what I saw, I think that this guy's gonna make. I don't think he's strong enough to beat the elite of the division. I'm talking Jones, Gustafsson, Cormier, depending where he is. But we will see. We will see who he fights next and how he does, and then we can talk about it. So then the other fight was Lewis versus Volkov, where it went like it basically went like I predicted. As far as the prediction, I had Derek Lewis winning by KO TKO. I thought it was going to be round 1 though. I knew that a clean shot from Lewis was all he needed just to land one time clean on Volkov, and he was going to put him away. And that's exactly what happened, but it didn't happen till the last 20 seconds of round 3, which to me, I thought that at that point Lewis was going to be too tired. I thought it was going to be round 1, but overall Volkov dominated him. Look at the difference of the strikes, significant strikes. Lewis had nothing for Volkov other than, you could tell Volkov had a lot of respect for Lewis's striking, but as far as his power, I'm sorry, not too much his striking, but his power for sure. But yeah, Lewis landed that huge right hand almost at the end of round 3, and that's all he needed. But I would say, man, Lewis looked a little bit slower, and he didn't look like himself. I have to be honest. It seems like he was, I don't know. It didn't look like the Lewis that we've seen before. Because even versus Ngannou, he was doing a lot more pressure than versus Volkov. So I got that one right. So on the main event, I was 2 for 2. So I got Khabib right, Lewis right. I was off on this too. And then, so the other one that surprised me was this one. I was wrong too. See, what gave Formiga his wins was those takedowns, late takedowns, round 1, round 2, and basically he spent all round 3 on Sergio Pettis' back. While they were striking, I think Pettis was doing better, just slightly. And I had mentioned how I thought that Pettis, coming from fighting Henry Cejudo, Olympic wrestler, Joseph Benavides, another really high-level wrestler, that his takedown defense was going to be good enough to stop every single takedown from Formiga. But yeah, that was not the case. Those takedowns are what gave Formiga his win. And the thing is, while they were standing, while I think Pettis was doing slightly better, he was not, dominating Formiga or anything. So yeah, those takedowns were huge. And it was basically 2 of them. It was, towards the end of, like 2 minutes left round 1, 2 minutes left round 2, which definitely stole both rounds for him. And then he had his back the entire round 3. But yeah, he did it on that one. And then we got Luke, which was perfectly predicted. This one, I called it. Luke round 1 KO TKO. I thought it was a mismatch, that he was just gonna destroy him, and I didn't put the breakdown was not too big on this one, but decent enough where KO TKO round 1. That's how it went. I don't even know how this match happened. It kind of reminds me of Thiago versus Holland, a match there. I'm like, where did this come from? He should be fighting top 10s right now. So yeah, interesting matchup on this one. And then Nix versus Maynard, which was also perfectly predicted. So here's the thing: on this one, on the actual, like on my video, I said Lentz by KO TKO, but after I have uploaded the video, I actually changed my mind and I had Lentz KO TKO round 1. As you can see, he won KO TKO round 2. So I had Lentz finishing Maynard just round 1, not round 2. And yeah, like I said, Gray Maynard was not going to be able to take Lentz down, and Lentz was just so much better standing up. I think I mentioned it, and I'm gonna say it again. Gray Maynard needs to retire. The guy's done. I mean, he cannot. I don't want to see him take any more punishment. I don't think he can hang up with the, I wouldn't even say the top 10 or top 15. Not even as a gatekeeper. I think he's done his job, and great victory for Lentz. But yeah, so like I said, to wrap it up, 4 out of 7. I think that's 57% overall. Like I say, I wish I would have had one more just come through, but it's okay. And now we get like 2 weeks break, and then we have an event that is not really the greatest, but we'll see what happens. Alright guys, have a good one.